Madness Podcast! The best of the underground! Make madness your ritual!
Hey, what's happening, folks?
If you don't know where to start,
oh,
in Top
Jesus, there we
Heroes
go.
World,
I
the
gotta love
Springland is
that
a great
professionalism right there. How's it going? It's Friday. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Check out the Shred Den. See here, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See, that's why it's hard to do live sometimes. You get that nonsense going on like that. Let's see here. I'm trying to read and do multiple things at once. Let me see here. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9100 85th Avenue North, Suite 100, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Give them a call at 763-350-2191. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, www.theshredden.net. If you're looking to get some logo work done, go to Narwhal Design Solutions. Justin Boney does fantastic work. I'm getting a buzzing in my ear, and it's driving me fucking nuts. Let's see here. Narwhal Design Solutions, Justin Boney at gmail.com. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We are live at the Shred Den Studios with our guy here. How's it going there, buddy? Love it.
It's going great.
How's it going, John?
Hey, man.
How you been, man?
I have been. I can just say I've been. I've been good. I've been bad. I've been indifferent. So I've been.
Well, that's good. At least you're being and not being.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I haven't given up yet.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, at our age, man, it's kind of difficult. You know what I'm saying?
There comes a time, I bet.
So your week's been good? You had a good week so far?
It's been busy. You know, I'm still trying to, balance that 40 to 50 hour work week with trying to be a rock star on the weekends and trying to be a happy, loving husband during the week as well. It's a hell of a balancing act at my age.
It really is, dude, isn't it? And you're active. You're an active musician still to this day.
It was a mistake. It really was a mistake.
When you walked up today, you were actually talking about it. You're like, man, I loved when I used to play in metal bands and you get 30 minutes and you're in and you're out. And it's like, now I got 3 90-minute sets and shit.
Yeah. I mean, back in the Avalanche days, we did 90-minute sets, but with Tempestuous, I think it was like a 30-minute set, and Nopathy was like 25. It seems like nowadays the bands, you put 19 bands on a show and you all get like a 20-minute set. Takes longer for changeover than you get to play.
Yeah. It's because the drummers don't realize that you can take your drums down off the fucking stage. You know what I'm saying?
I still turn around and just be like, seriously?
Yeah.
Just over there. Over there. Come on, man.
Right. Just spin them off over there. Dude.
Yeah, just everybody grab one and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. You've been at this a long time, dude. You've been. How long have we known each other, dude?
It's got to be over 30.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
For sure.
I mean, we met when we were like 16, 17.
Yeah.
When I was conned to come and try and take your gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Jesus.
There isn't a time that that I've known you that I have not said, damn it, I remember that day.
So do
dude,
I.
I was sitting there sweating my ass off going, this dude's coming in and he's kicking ass, dude.
Dude, you're doing that and I'm sitting here going, he's the singer?
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Your singer's right there? What's going on?
Yeah.
Looking at you.
Yeah.
Dumbfounded. Just dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I totally no idea that was the case.
Let me ask you about this first song. The first song is what? Projection from your band Nopathy, right?
That was Projection is the name of the EP.
Okay, gotcha.
So you wanted the artwork from the EP, so you got that.
Gotcha.
But that's actually Alter the Path.
Okay.
That's the one where basically Nopathy was a band where we would decide to write a song and then we would look at each other and go, who's going to sing it? And then whoever took that weight of, I'll sing this one. That person wrote the lyrics, that person wrote the vocal melody and all that.
Yeah.
After years of doing it that way, we came up with an idea of like, well, I tell you what, I'll sing it, but you write it for my voice.
Yeah.
And so Tony Williams actually wrote all the lyrics and the melody for that and then made me sing it. And then I went to Chris Valentino and said, you know what, why don't you double it with me like they do in Catatonia and we'll both lead sing. So when you actually listen to the vocal, it's me singing the main verse, but Chris is right there with me with his kind of black metal voice, and it's mixed in so both of us are there.
Yeah. Yep.
So it really ended up being more unique than you would think because generally it's like, oh, I know Stunner's voice.
Yeah.
But this wasn't just my voice.
Right.
So Napathy was a special
Adds
thing.
a layer to it, though.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had a lot of fun in that band.
So what is it now? Is that a defunct band? Are you guys not writing together anymore?
We all got to a point where we were doing so much stuff on the side, it turned into more of a like a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night hang with the guys.
Yeah.
We'd come together, we'd chat for like an hour and a half about life. We'd pick up an instrument, play the same songs we've been playing for 10 years, go home and see you next week. So we got to a point where the well was kind of dry on new material.
Yeah.
And then we ran into a whole lack of a drummer for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we did get a drummer in, Josh Fetzik, amazing drummer, came in the end there. And we just basically got everything up to speed to play a show. And then we just didn't write. So it got to that point where we're like, well, maybe it's time.
Yeah.
Because if the juices are dry, then the juices are dry.
Yeah.
Chris is now doing Stone and Echo, which is a Perfect Circle tribute. He's loving the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And he's doing his Family Man thing, which is great. And then Tony, always gigging, always playing.
Yeah.
He's even gone out on the road with some bands.
Filling in and on his own, right? Just doing the solo thing like.
It solo stuff like crazy. He's part of the Wednesday Jam in Stillwater,
okay.
the Ziggy's All-Star Jam. He does that, plays keyboards for that, guitar for that.
Right.
But, occasionally goes out on the road. He was out on the road with Armored Saint, being their stage manager, basically.
Right.
And then he went out with Marty Friedman recently and did the same thing with Marty Friedman. So I live vicariously through that. I'm like, dude, you're coming over to my house and telling me stories because I never got to do what you get to do now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And then with me, I just went and started doing the cover band thing, make a little money on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you kind of history stuff. So I know we touched on this stuff like back on the other podcast fucking years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was first when it came to your bands? Which band was the one that pushed you out front right away?
Well, I think it was obviously Avalanche.
Yep.
But prior to Avalanche, there was a band called Alliance, and that was the same guys, really.
Yep.
Me, Walter, Jeff, Wayne Enns, and Soup on drums. But at the time, a 16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, and I'm watching The Regime every weekend. I'm watching Scott Yauk drink and be a fool and be a comic guy and talk more than he played. And I've told this to Wally before, too, is like, when we were 17 and we started doing these Alliance shows, I talked more than we played.
Right.
I got fired in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think we played 2 gigs and they're like, dude, we can't handle this.
Yeah.
I was Scott Yauk Jr.
Yeah.
So, but came back. I went out to Washington, Seattle, Washington for a year or so, right around 1990. Came back, and then we formed Avalanche. So that was the one that really pushed.
Did you go out towards that area for work, or did you go for music, or?
So I was 19, and my buddy Danny Paradis had moved out there. Mm-hmm. Danny was a guy that used to come out to all the Regime shows, and he was a cousin to like an old girlfriend, whatever. And he moved out there, and he had come back for like Thanksgiving or some kind of holiday thing, and he's like, dude, you should just come with. I've got room. You can stay there until you get a job. And he was telling me all about the music scene and this and that. And I'm 19 years old. I just wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I did. I just jumped in the truck with him, went out there, spent about 4 months on his couch and got a job and got in a band. And
what were you doing for work out there?
Tower Records in their video store.
Nice.
So yeah, I was in their video store. One of the guys that was in the video store was a drummer in a band that was on Sub Pop Records.
Yeah.
And it was like, so I'm just thrust into all this stuff, and I didn't know any of that. And here, 30 years later, it's like, that ended up being huge. I should have stayed there and found a freaking grunge. No, I didn't want to be in grunge band.
Well,
but,
you didn't come from that style shit either. So so that was in full swing at that particular time, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I got there, Soundgarden had been signed. They had been out on tour. They were doing their Loud Love and coming back.
Yeah.
And I remember that my buddies were like, you got to come. We're going to go see him. And they were at like the Fillmore in Seattle. And I'm watching these guys, and I never heard them before in my life.
Yeah.
And this theater, all I heard was guitar feedback and cat call kind of vocals. And here I'm coming from an Old Testament overkill kind of thing. I'm going, what the fuck is this?
Right,
shit?
exactly.
And everyone's just loving it. And I'm going, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And about 2-3 months later, after listening to the album a bunch, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's cool shit.
So you were probably out there when they came here then.
Yeah.
So the Voivod, Soundgarden, Faith No More show, you were not a part of.
I would not have been here.
They were horrible. I thought they were garbage. When I heard Loud Love or whatever, I hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, they were getting booed at First Avenue, So when I heard Soundgarden, that was just, it didn't click with me. Again, we came from
total different school,
thrash and all the shit,
Yeah.
But fast forward to Bad Motor Finger. You know what I mean? Like that, I fell in love with it. And now I go back to the Loud Love shit, and I'm like, that's still awesome. How did I not like this?
Yeah, I think it was just culture shock.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And then once I had gotten into it and lived in that scene for 6 to 8 months or whatever, it was like, okay, I can see where this is.
Right.
And at the time, I still tell this story all the time too, is like when I'm out there, Soundgarden had gotten signed, they'd come back. Nirvana, not yet. Alice in Chains, they had this Backlash is what it was called. It was their city pages.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me at the time, the Backlash never supported any bands, period.
Oh, wow.
They just didn't. They didn't support the Seattle bands. But the first thing I read is Alice in Chains says they got signed again.
Huh.
So they had lost like 2 or 3 record deals. And
well, they were like they were like glam metal, weren't they?
They were what they were, but nobody knew
Oh, gotcha.
how to market that or how to do that. And if you remember their first album, Facelift, came with a VHS tape, like, please watch us so you get it.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of weird. Like there was no respect in the scene for him at the moment.
Was so amazing.
Yeah.
Go,
It's great shit. But it's so weird. Like I was there right at the birth of all that.
Wow.
And then speaking of birth, I get there, and 2 weeks after I get there, I find out that my girl was back home, was pregnant.
Damn.
So then everything shifts to me getting her out there. My child is born. I decide not to go to work anymore because I've got a baby at home and I just want to be near this baby.
Right.
Lose my job, lose my apartment, have to move back home to Minnesota to mom.
Yeah.
So it's, when you're 19, you don't know what you need to do to get to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There it was.
It's a valuable lesson, man. To teach these young cats that may or may not be watching the show. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
Like I try to push that out there to the front. If I hear people doing the correct things, and Evernorth is a band that was just on here a couple episodes ago, and they've got multiple dry erase boards. They record all their practices.
There you go.
Shit that we were kind of starting to do when we were younger, right? We had our boom boxes and shit.
Boom box with a pillow over it.
Yep. See, not a lot of people do. You know what I mean? Like I had a fucking microphone with multiple socks on the top of it, so it would buffer everything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They don't know the shit we had to suffer through. Dude, you know what I mean?
Dude. The countless legal pads and looking for a pencil anywhere in the room because you had an idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now looking back, man, when you're getting into the scene and how was it for networking with you? Like, when you were trying to break into playing out, when you were trying to meet some of these bands that you were going to see and like trying to get into the clubs and shit like that. How did you start with that?
That's where it's weird. Like if you talk to people about Avalanche, there's a lot of people that go, "Oh my God, you guys are amazing," and there's a lot of people that had no idea who the fuck we were.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, it goes right back to me when we were 16 years old. The Regime was my favorite band.
Right.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
I went and saw the Regime. Where did I see them? At Ryan's.
Yeah.
What were they doing? They were playing covers and they were playing originals. They were playing it for hundreds of people. They were getting free beer from the bar. They were partying. They were having a good time. These became my idols. These became my first heroes. Went and saw the.
Oh, sorry about that.
So there it is. So with that being said, when Avalanche is formed, the first people we go and open for are the Regime.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're playing weekends at Ryan's. We're not playing small places in Minneapolis or First Ave or 7th Street or any of that. There was a time when Decker had came to me and said, "I want to put you on this, I want to put you on that." And we were so stuck in Ryan's making our money because we were drawing well, getting treated very well. You know, we'd get our case of beer and all of our love and everything else. And I would just tell him, I don't want to do that. Thanks, but no, we're good.
Yeah.
So I didn't connect with a lot of the incredible bands. I mean, there was a couple times where we brought Cromlech over across the river and they played with us and we played with them. But we weren't in the scene, so to speak. We were just in our little club.
Yeah. And
it sucks because the scene was great and I felt like we missed part of it.
Yeah. I feel you, dude. I know how that is. You know, I mean, it's crazy though how because I listened to the story you just said, and I'm looking back and thinking, now that's just another way of working the network, right? You're showing up at a band that you appreciate, you're supporting them, they see you around, they know the cats that you're jamming with, you know what I mean? You're basically grandfathered into that whole club. Now, they were the king of the hill back then. They were the fucking top-notch shit, you know?
Yeah.
They played everywhere. Everybody went to see them. Anywhere they went, that crowd followed them to every club, and they benefited from it. So what I'm hearing is that you did it the right way. You found the band that you really enjoyed. You appreciated them. You rubbed elbows with them cats. You wanted to do what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Gave them the love, and it came right back to you. So you got grandfathered into something that...
Yeah, and you know, when I speak about us not really being into the scene so much, I think we had a moment of... Regime was the heaviest band that played Ryan's at that time.
Yeah.
They were the heaviest one.
Sure.
Like Power Mad didn't come to Ryan's.
Right.
You know, Kubla Khan didn't come to Ryan's.
Right.
Regime was the heaviest band to play Ryan's.
Yeah.
And they were more of a heavier Judas Priest, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We come in and we're Anthrax, we're Slayer, we're, you know, Overkill. We're coming in with thrash.
Yeah.
So we brought thrash metal to the weekends and showed Ryan's that we could do it. Tom Ryan was like, you guys are okay. I don't understand it, but you're doing good.
Right.
What that gave us the ability to do, which I still appreciate now, we were able to bring other thrash bands into Ryan's.
Right.
Because we were only doing a 90, so we would always bring another band.
Yeah.
Demonicon, originally Dominion, Sublevel.
Yeah.
You know, we were able to have you guys play with us and get you into there. Yep. Now, we never went anywhere else with you guys, but we were able to have you there at least, which was fun.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I look back at that time, and I never played Ryan's. I refused to back then because I didn't like the stage because I was spoiled.
I could have swore we had Sublevel 13 with us just once.
I don't believe so.
Either that or I was hanging out in your room all the time.
Yep.
Okay. This is one of the two.
Yeah, you're one of the only people that remember that original name. That's
with the 13?
Yeah.
Come on now.
One of the only people that's ever brought it up and went, dude, I remember having the 13 on it. And I'm like,
old school, man.
Yeah. And then Eric was like, hey, we got to drop the 13. He's very superstitious when it came to things like that.
That was cool.
He's a Jesus dude. So he
not,
was like,
not that Sublevel wasn't cool, but Sublevel 13 was still cool. I liked it that way.
I liked it. I came up with that. So
yeah, and you know, and again, like that's another part about that whole scene aspect too, was like Ryan's was our home, and right above Ryan's was our studios.
Every party, every weekend with every band that was there.
Yeah, so I guess we were part of a small scene.
I think you guys had the scene, and everybody was trying to catch up to everybody else because because if you think about it, right, once you got into Ryan's, like once you got. And I tell this to new bands nowadays, like they don't understand the merit behind what we had to build as older guys, right?
Yeah.
Because you would get these opportunities because you were drawing every fucking weekend. These people wanted you to be a part of their bill because you were holding those crowds. You guys had massive crowds back in the day. You know what I mean?
Nothing like what Nuisance will pull at Rockfest. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, I mean, our massive crowds was maybe 200, 300.
Yeah.
But that was 200, 300 every 6 weeks that would come out no matter what and just have a party.
Right.
It was fun.
Where you know, when you go multiple different venues, again, people these days don't understand how we built the things back then, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
If you got into a club like that under a name, now if Regime vouched for you to get up there and then you open the door and now all of their fans and then multiple other people that are into the thrash thing go, Avalanche is the band to see, which I had heard multiple times before I had seen you. And, you know, we were sharing spots with fucking Wally and Jeff at, you know, when at fucking the Kearns places back then,
Right.
when Wally would tune all of our guitars differently because we're playing death metal. He would tune us up to E. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
We'd
that
be
was
down
good
to
stuff.
Z, and he'd be tuning it up way
That
up
was
high.
good stuff.
So Jay Nodebart would pick up his guitar, you know, to be tight as fuck, and he's used to go, you know, playing this low tone,
Spaghetti
you know?
strings.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and you know, and him and Dennis would fuck with their guitars, so they would be pissed off when we'd go to practice. But, well, anyway, you know, it's
Fun stuff.
I think that you guys had a built-in scene that the rest of us were trying to work towards, you know, because we did take the shows from Decker. You know, we did do these things. You guys, this is where you guys were, and everybody knew that's where you would see Avalanche, you know, every few weeks or every 6 weeks or,
Right.
you know, and it was, you guys weren't playing 12 fucking shows all around the fucking city, dude.
But we weren't on Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Right.
You know, we also weren't playing First Avenue Main Room. Well, we did once.
Yeah.
You know, so there's legendary clubs for metal bands that we didn't get to do. We had our, you know, 8-9 years, and it was fun as hell. But there's some regret in there for me.
Oh, I bet. I can imagine. I mean, I look back at the Ryans time, and again, like I said, I think that you guys were connected with the Regime guys, and you know, there's a few other bands that were good and did well, and you were pulling bands in there that were doing really well. You guys were taking the merit bands out there that you heard and that you guys had saw outside and brought them into your scene too. You know what I'm saying?
Loved it. Yeah.
Where again, you're not playing the 15-minute set in Milwaukee Metal Fest that you had to pay $500 for or $1,000 for. You know
I think that was the main thing that, you know, because when Sean Don, when he first came to me about that stuff, it was pay to play. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that makes no sense to me. I'm getting paid to play right now.
Yeah.
Would I have done a couple of those? I probably would have.
Now you would have, because you know what I mean?
Yeah, because now in my life, it's about the experiences. Yeah. It's not about the money.
Yeah.
I don't play. I mean, I whore myself out musically now for money. Yes, I do. But it's more about the experiences I'm having now. I wouldn't be in a shitty band for money.
Right.
I'm in a band for money, but they're a good band.
Right. Talented musicians, not slouches.
Pretty much.
The Icon says Avalanche was the first band that I seen that made me realize there were local bands and local talent, is what he said. Jess says, yeah, the first time that I seen you guys open up for Overkill at then Ryan's, and I moved to the bathroom, and when the wave of sweaty dudes, there was no walking as how packed it was at that time. Yeah.
Are they drinking alcohol right now?
Maybe. It's just me not being able to read is what that is.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have my glasses. They're over there. So I'm squinting to see what I'm reading here. Yeah.
Need some readers?
Yours are probably more stronger than I'm used to. I'd get a headache.
2.0s, man.
Mine are like 0.5 right now.
I am older than you.
I haven't graduated to the next 0.1 or whatever, 1.5 or whatever the hell, you know.
Well, I stare at a computer screen for 9-10 hours a day too, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, I got you there, man. So after Avalanche, which direction did you go after Avalanche? Because I know there was some time in between, but you were doing a lot of other things too, right?
Yeah. Well, when Avalanche busted, you know, we kind of everybody kind of took a break, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. So I started producing. And I started producing a kind of a hip hop metal band at the time. They were called Third Element. Mm-hmm. They eventually became Planet 86. Mm-hmm. So I was producing them, and it was really weird. Like, I'm working my day job like I always do. Yeah. And Walter Wetschreck, guitar player, just a punk kid, man, like 19, 20-year-old kid, starts working at Comcast with us, and he's like, "Hey, you should come check out my band." And so I'm like, all right, I'll come. And they played a song for me, and they asked me, they're like, so what do you think? And I'm like, you want me to really tell you what I think? And they're like, yeah, just no holes barred. Tell me what you think.
Oh, God.
And they were all kids.
Yeah.
It was like their first time doing anything. And as I'm listening to them play, I'm like, musically, what they've got is cool. But I'm like, okay, your drummer's hitting cymbals on every one count. He's got to stop hitting cymbals. Yeah. I'm like, your guitar rig sounds like trash. Yeah. Sounds like you're playing through a practice amp with no low end. And I really dissected like every piece of it. And it was one of those moments where I was like, these guys are asking me for my opinion. I don't have any love for any of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them my honest opinion.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any protection on it.
Yeah.
And I gave them that opinion, and they all took it in, and they all changed what they were doing. And within 15 minutes, we were sounding better.
Wow.
And it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, maybe I can do something here.
Yeah.
And within 6 months, I took them into Grace Point's little home studio.
Right.
Grace Point is and was one of the best, like, Dream Theater-esque type bands we've ever had in this state.
Yeah.
But I took them into that studio and we recorded a demo with them and stuff. And after that, I hooked up with Rob Carlson and started the tempestuous stuff. Mm-hmm. It took the producing something very left field for me to begin to miss writing and creating.
Yeah.
And then it was Mike Henderson who introduced me to Rob and Ken Coy and all that. And I remember Henderson was playing bass at the time, but there was something going on there where he either couldn't show up for practices, or there might have been, and maybe Rob can clarify if he knows, but there might have been a miscommunication there where he all of a sudden wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to play bass and sing.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had ever played bass semi-professionally and sang.
Huh.
Was tempestuous. So
yeah.
It was a great moment. That was like 2001. So.
And you've been playing guitar and other instruments, correctly?
Well, I played guitar when I was 12,
right.
But then I met Walter Borgen, who fucking destroys a guitar and makes you look ridiculous. Yeah. So I said, well, there's one thing Wally can't do, and that's sing. So I'm going to sing.
Yeah.
And that's how that all started. So I had a familiarity with guitar.
Yeah. I
could play bass. So that was fine.
Now looking back on all the years of being in a band and everything and singing and all of that, where did you, what voice, what person, what vocalist made you go, yeah, I want to be able to scream. I want to be able to do that.
That's a weird one because in the Alliance days, we were a cover band first, right? Okay. And I'm singing Steve Souza from Exodus. Yep. So we're doing like Chemic Hill. I'm singing Grandma Welcome Home by King Diamond.
Right.
I'm singing Overkill's that was later, Thanks for Nothing. But there were so many different singers that I was singing. It's hard to just pick one.
So you just pulled from a whole genre.
I really did. Because, it was one of those moments where the band was doing all these things.
Yeah.
You know, Wally and Wayne and Mike Kern were in Demonic Conception long before Avalanche and stuff. And they were playing stuff like Zoetrope and Exodus and Megadeth and all these, just a wide variety of things. So you couldn't just be one singer.
Right.
Because if they did that, any of them could have been that guy.
Yeah.
You needed somebody that could actually emulate multiple things. And for my way in, it was like, oh, you need King Diamond? I can do that.
Nice.
Oh, you need Overkill? I can do that. You know, so that's where that came from.
Just versatility.
Then.
Yeah.
And I think what was weird too was like, as I started to develop in, 16, 17, 18, 19, I think I started to go more like Bobby Blitz and Overkill, David Wayne from Metal Church with this high screechy stuff.
Yeah.
Scott Yelk used to call it witchy voice.
Yeah.
Sounded a little witchy.
Yeah.
And that's where I was in like 90. I had that voice. When I came back and we formed Avalanche in 92, 93, it shifted into more of like a Phil Anselmo kind of Pantera voice. So just always kind of changed.
I always thought you were more Chuck Billy than anything.
I did do a lot of Chuck. We got a review in Burn Magazine, which is a Japanese version of like Kerrang.
Sure.
A fan of Avalanche had sent this magazine in Japan, Scratching at the Surface, and they reviewed it. So I've got this thing at home that has the review in English, and it says that it had scenes of Overkill and Pantera with vocals of a wild Chuck Billy.
Nice.
I was like, oh, I'm a wild Chuck Billy.
There you go, dude.
All right. So I guess you're not the only one that thought that.
It's one of the top vocalists in my book at that particular time back then. You know,
He could scream, but he also sang.
I
nice.
like the depth of his voice. I felt like when you were in Avalanche, you had the depth. It wasn't just that high, the high screech that you did before. I remember you doing a lot of that too, but I felt like you leaned more into you giving it more low end to it.
It's weird, like it's always evolved.
Yeah.
Like the early Avalanche stuff was very much that witchy stuff, higher stuff. The scratching at the surface stuff was a little more Phil Anselmo Pantera.
Yep.
The stuff we were recording right before we broke up in 2000 was not Phil Anselmo. It was different.
Yeah.
And I think I even brought a sample of that tonight. But so I think I just constantly I evolved with it. I was always open to something new, and I just played around with it.
Yeah. That's fucking badass, man. I like the fact that you tried to keep it open and that you were, you know, I couldn't achieve any of that. And I look back, okay, so I wasn't trying to. So the only guy that I ever tried to emulate was Phil from Sacred Reich in the lobotomy shit. That was the first time that I tried to like do something that I enjoyed listening to. Okay,
where you tried to take like basically an entire page of lyrics and crush them into 4 seconds. Yeah, he was great at that.
Yeah,
still is.
Yeah, he was amazing with it. I never wrote lyrics back then. I didn't write any of that stuff back then. You know what I mean? That wasn't me writing. I didn't write until we got into the Necromus years, and it was the second demo was the first time I started writing.
I remember Wayne Enns he was singing Ignorance and Death Squad back in the day.
Yeah,
and he's writing. He's got these lyrics, and he's like, I don't know which words to mush together to make this fit.
Yeah.
Oh, he was awesome.
For sure.
Though. Love it.
He was quick back then. Dude.
Yep.
I really like that. But I never tried. You know what I mean? Like I never tried to really emulate anybody else.
But that's the thing about you, dude. Is you ended up developing this. It was this mannerism, attitude, ballsy, and delivery. It was wild, but it was controlled. You're a very unique vocalist.
I appreciate that.
Very
coming from you, I appreciate that. And Brad Grimm from Volcano Diving, he gave a critique on the Outside of the Mirror thing. He said, I just listened to that album for the first time a few weeks ago or whatever, and he's like, it's a very interesting way to sing, is what he said. And I didn't know what to say to that. I'm like, okay, is it good or is it bad? And he goes, I enjoyed it, but it's not your typical death metal voice, is what he said.
Right, because again, it's kind of like how I look at Bon Scott.
Yeah.
Bon Scott was not an insanely great singer. He had attitude and balls, and he told a fucking story.
Yeah.
Same like you.
Damn.
Attitude, balls, you tell a fucking story. And when you're on stage, watching you tell that story, fucking captivating.
I appreciate that, man.
It's just
I appreciate
telling the truth, brother.
All it is just feeling it. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people feel the music. Mm-hmm. Some people just want to be part of the music and will do whatever the music is doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I always classify musicians in two categories. One that's playing the instrument and owning it. Like you feel it, you see it, you see that he's feeling it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With everything. You do just two, you know what I mean? The faces, right?
Yep.
But then you also have people that are letting the instrument play them. And those are those people that are doing what the music's, you know what I mean? They're going along with the music. They're not like feeling it and projecting it to people. That's why I try to talk to young cats when it comes to that shit. I'm like, man, you know what that singer's saying, right? You practice with them every week, right? Yeah. So when he goes to hit that thing, say it with him. Oh, I was told to never do that. Why the fuck would you not? Why wouldn't you want everybody else to go, oh, that's what he says, you know?
Yeah. I think the way you look at it is similar to me. I've always looked at, there's people that are musicians and there's people that play music.
Yeah.
If you are a musician, it's in your soul.
Yeah.
You will be a musician at 3 years old. You will be a musician at 103 years old.
Right.
Because you can't live without music.
Right.
If you play music, you may play music to get something out of it, whether it be popularity, a girlfriend, whatever it is. And then once you get what you were looking for, the guitar might go in the closet for the rest of your life.
Right.
that's not a musician. That's somebody that played music. That's how I look at it. And it's kind of probably similar to how you're saying it. Like you've got these people that play the instrument and it just flows out of them and exudes out of them because that's their soul.
I've seen a lot of those people, which is disheartening to me. Like they put all the time in learning that instrument and really play with their soul and their heart.
Yeah.
And then something happens and they just go, I'm not into it anymore. They get up there and they're in front of the crowd and they realize this isn't what I wanted. This doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? It's not like being in your, I knew a drummer, dude. I knew a drummer that was one of the best drummers in Minneapolis. St. Paul, Minneapolis. He was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But when you put him in a room, and I said this after watching him play with people, he played with Rick Tyler for a little while, from Game Hens back in the day, great guitar player, flashy, real quick thrash type shit. You know? But watching those two play was like, watching oil and water, try to combine them in the you got bubbles of oil all over and they're not going together. It was like the timing was completely off. But you pull that guitar player out of it and he's fucking playing along with everything, perfect time, fucking, and then goes off on these great solos of his own thing, but you put him in there to keep him in time and he's fucking lost, completely lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so hard to see that shit. It's just
you can put together a super group. I mean, it's like I was listening to a podcast with Vivian Campbell the other day talking about Whitesnake, how he left Dio and he's going into Whitesnake.
Yeah.
And it's basically a super group that's playing. They're a cover band all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're playing all the stuff that John Sykes and all of them recorded.
Right.
And he said it was so crazy because every member of this band had a pedigree. Tommy Eldridge, Rudy Sarzo, him, all of this Adrian Vandenberg, a super group.
Yeah.
But when they got together, it didn't feel like he felt when he was in Dio.
Yeah.
Some musicians just have a chemistry that just, holy shit, why are they not a super phenomenal whatever? And then other bands where each individual is incredible, they just don't vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rob Carlson and I, we wrote probably better than Wally Borgen and I.
Yeah.
Wally Borgen and I wrote amazing shit with Avalanche.
Yeah.
But we would conflict sometimes. I wanted it this way, he wanted it that way. If whoever wanted it more and argued more usually won that little whatever. But when Rob and I wrote, yeah, let's do that. Okay, yeah, let's try that. Oh, let's try that. Let's play it and see what it sounds like. We collaborated so much better.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the tempestuous stuff is still some of the best stuff I've ever written.
Now, do you think, looking back at it, though, do you feel like it's growth between the time frames? You know what I mean? Because you're learning, you get the Alliance stuff, you do the Avalanche stuff, you're learning, you take a break. Again, like you said, you're listening to this new metal band. It's completely left field from what you're doing.
Yeah.
But the fucking, your cogs are moving. Everything's moving. And then all of a sudden you want to go back into doing it again. You're hankering for it. You get back in there, and then
potentially I think you hit on something there, because when Wally and I were writing and we're 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old, I mean, we were writing Avalanche into our 20s.
Yeah.
But Wally is a very competitive person.
Yeah.
And he's competitive, but he not only wants to win, but he has the ability to win and the perseverance to get to the win.
Right.
Right? So if I wanted something, I needed to show him that I would compete for it.
Right.
And we got along great. Best friends to this day.
Right.
But that was the life I lived for 10 years in that band.
Right.
And when that ended, I didn't want to do that anymore.
Right.
And I started producing. And when I'm producing, I'm in control because I'm helping this young band, but I also didn't want to take control because of where I had just come from. So I think you're probably right. After producing Third Element and getting their input on everything and helping mold that more like a coach than a player, so to speak.
Yeah.
When we got into Tempestuous, I was still in that vibe. I like that vibe.
Right.
I like collaborating and taking everyone's idea.
Yeah.
I also like to be right, and I like to have my idea win if it's the best idea.
Right.
So
I think that a lot of players, when it comes to that competitive spirit and thing like that, and like, having the ability and being maybe more talented than the vocalist or the bass player. Okay. I've always felt like, okay, yeah, you have the ground to stand on. You're technically more sound than I am, but you're paying attention to your guitar. I'm paying attention to the crowd and what they're doing when I'm doing what I'm doing. So if I'm so this is what I would say to the guys that I jam with. I was very fortunate to jam with guys that I never had to fight about it. We just always were like, what is the coolest thing? Did you see what those people were doing? Did you see how they reacted to that? And, my little churn and butter thing that I used to do, right? It would affect the crowd, right? So if I was sitting there listening to him play 100 riffs, right? And that one riff hit me and I popped my head up and went, play that multiple times. Let's rate something to it and let's see where it goes. They would go, oh, he wasn't listening to anything we were doing through all of this noodly, but he heard one thing. And if he heard it, that means he's going to feel it, which he's going to be able to project it. So then everybody else is going to feel it. Yeah. So I ended up winning a lot of those too. Yeah. Because I never played the fucking instrument, but I could come in because I listened to every fucking thing and I'd go, gung, 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 and then I look at the drummer and go, gung, 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 and they go, and then they play it and they go, oh, and then they see me getting crazy with it. Right. And I write a whole fucking verse and then I'm going, right. And then they go, oh shit, yeah, I see what you're talking about now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And we would have those types of things. And again, this is where I would speak up and fight for my thought on that. Yeah. What you're saying is you'd hear things and you'd be like, hey, and they'd go, all right. In the Avalanche days, Wally and Soup, you put those two together, you got one of the best drummers there is, one of the best guitar players there is in St. Paul at the time.
Which also knows what Wally's going to do.
Yeah. But that was because they would get down to the studio at 2 p.m.
and just jam.
I didn't get there till 8 because I worked. Yeah. So they'd have 5-6 hours together. Yeah. I'd show up and they'd be like, listen to what we did today. Right. And then I would listen to it and I'd go, that riff's amazing, but that would be a better verse riff. Yeah. That's a killer chorus. Can we move this here? So I was more of an arranger in that, but then I was also kind of a pebble in the boot, and Carlson can even speak on this, is I would say I don't want to go 4 times of that into 4 times of that into 4 times of that. Yeah. Let's do 1.5 of that. Let's do 3 of that.
So you like to throw it off the main path
because everything is so formulaic and it does its thing. But even in like when you listen to the Nopathy song we played earlier, there's this entire instrumental jam section in the later part of the song where originally it was 4, 4, and 4. Yeah. And I said, no, let's do 1, 3, and 2. Let's just fuck with everything and do it like steps. We're going to do this step 1 time, 3 times, 2 times. Because then people can't lock into it the first time they hear it. Right. They have to listen to it again and again and hear it. Mm-hmm. It's also the reason that in the tempestuous stuff, when I would double my voice, I remember having conversations with Will where he'd come at me and go, oh, you didn't hit that. And I'm like, no, I hit it exactly how I wanted to. I don't want it to be perfect. Mm-hmm. I want it to be different enough so that when you hear it the second time, the third time, the fourth time,
you're picking up on that.
Maybe you're not listening to it with the left side of your brain today. Maybe you're hearing the other side of it. Yeah. And it was hard to get Will to wrap around that at first, but then he finally was like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I hope so. You're the engineer guy right now. I know what I'm delivering. Yeah. Let me do what I'm delivering, So that was my thing, is I always wanted it to be familiar, but tweaked.
Not predictable. Yeah. Yeah. I tried to not ever follow that, the thing. And that's with death metal and some thrash. It isn't chorus shit. It's not hook. Right. It's just coming at you. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And the riff is what breaks it, the monotony of it up, and the breakdowns. They're not like, you know what I mean? It's the breakdowns when we were doing it are totally different than the breakdowns today. You say breakdown and they go, oh, breakdown, it's deathcore, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Where thrash and death metal had totally different breakdowns back then. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I feel you there, dude. When it comes to that stuff, I feel that. I did write in the formula a couple times where I went and did specifically like just to see if I do it this way, will people's ears take to it?
Right.
those were the popular songs every single time. And then it made me look at my past catalog and go, I was here. Why didn't I do that then? And I could have been this much further.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. And when I started to, with the sub-level stuff, like I was trying to kind of get close to the radio stuff. So I was like, this is good enough. And then when I talked to Monty Connor from Roadrunner, you know what I mean? I'm on the phone with him, and he just kept bringing up Wait and Bleed. I know you know the Slipknot guys. You know that song. That's what I need from you guys. I love what you're doing, but this is what I need.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Hatebreed's doing it, and they didn't have to fucking do it. But you look at Hatebreed, they're here, and then you're looking at multi-platinum Slipknot over
and
here.
The thing too about like the Hatebreed stuff, for me, perseverance.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that for the first time, and I even reached out to Rob because it was around the tempestuous days, and I was like, okay, I want that guitar, but I want solo work choruses.
Yeah.
I want the hooks, I want the melody, but Jesus Christ, do I want that guitar? You know, and that's, in my opinion, nothing against the vocals of Hatebreed, but everything is the same delivery.
Yeah.
There's no, I couldn't tell you what song is what because it's all the same delivery.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the difference for me. Like with Avalanche, with all that, there are like 6 or 7 or 8 songs in the Avalanche catalog that stand out to me today, and they're the songs where I was not just cadence, but I delivered hooks.
Yeah.
And I didn't know then that that's what I was doing. Had no idea.
Now you said something to me a couple years ago, and I don't remember if it was the Napathy stuff or if it was Tempestuous. I think it was Napathy, the first like demo stuff that you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
You were working with the guy from Grace Point, right?
Yep.
Now, coming from you and you telling me that story as a homie, and just saying this is where I was at with this song, and you're like, I wanted to get more out of it, and you were working with the dude from Grace Point, and this is where I had gotten so much more respect for you as a vocalist. And I knew, because I always thought that you had dynamics in what you were doing. You always had way more dynamics than I did. I was kind of in this one little spot when it came to thrash and death, right?
Yeah.
But you always had range from every which way, always. Now, when you said that you took direction from somebody else, like you were like, hey, I wanted to hit the hook, but I wanted it to be right. And I worked with a guy who did write hooks all the time.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, when he wrote it down and we worked on it together, and just the way you were telling me the story and how you were being so vulnerable and open with it to another vocalist, like I'd never experienced that with I've talked to so many fucking vocalists just asking, what do you do to warm up? What do you do on strength? What do you do on power? When you're trying to hit your higher stuff, how do you keep it to know where the threshold is to not blow yourself out and go back to the low stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we sat and talked about that, I just gained so much more respect for you. And when I look back at Al Town, through all the years of starting in a death metal band and then doing Release and then doing Six and then going back to the death metal stuff, he was able to step outside of his comfort zone. And I always had mad envy for guys that could do that. And when we were having that conversation, I just sat there and I went, I never thought about even asking anybody for help like that, because I knew that I had the capabilities to sing. I always have.
Yeah.
I wanted to sing in different genres. I love all types of music, but I never took the initiative to go and take vocal lessons. It was all just where it came from here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And tuning my ears to hear the things that, when you say, again, I go back to, I categorize, singers in certain way too, the guys that stay in that one area, they're comfortable and they don't move out of that and they stay there, much like the delivery on it. It's the same thing every single time.
Right.
They're good at it. They leave it there. It stays there. They change the music behind it, but it's still there. Right.
Yeah.
Where guys focus on their fucking capabilities, their talents, and they focus in on it and they go, okay, this is how I can make myself that much better. Mm-hmm. That's why every time Rob was like, hey, you should come sing for Tempestuous, I was like, no, I can't do that. And I say that because I wouldn't want to follow you on that, because I think that the stuff that you did was amazing, and I don't think that I could hit the stuff as well as you could, and I wouldn't do it justice. This is just how I look at it. I never like to follow someone that I truly respect. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been around together forever.
Oh, yeah.
And I've watched you, you've watched me. I've been in awe for years, man. I've always respected you as a vocalist, always.
Thanks,
And you know, people will say that, oh, you guys have the same type of delivery. You guys have this, that. And I'm like, no, he's a guy who really has honed his craft through the years. I'm a guy who got lucky with cool fucking dudes, and I did my thing. Like Jess even said.
Listen,
like,
dude, we can blow each other all night.
Yeah.
That's fine. But you've got you, I've got me, and
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll go back to what you were saying, though. It wasn't Grace Point.
Yeah.
It was Dennis Asher.
Okay.
And it was Tempestuous.
Okay.
So Rob and I wrote this song called Denial, which you're going to play. Because I think it's the next one we're going to play.
Yep.
And at practices for months, Rob was playing this like little acoustic little thing. It wasn't even a full thing. It was just this really thing, you know, and he liked it a lot, and he'd always play it at practices. And I remember when we put Denial together, that was the intro. And I'm like, I want vocals over that. Let's do this many times, whatever, we'll do this. And Dennis Asher is one of my best friends. You know, we were in Foo Fighters together for years and years. And I said, dude, if I send you just a musical snippet and I give you a topic, write something. And he's like, all right. So he wrote it and he sent it to me. And the topic was denial, period.
Yeah.
I didn't say what you were denying. I didn't say how to deny it. And he came back to me about this scenario of denying that you have an addiction problem to drugs, whatever. And I took that and I changed one line so it fit the rest of the lyric that I was doing, but I kept his exact melody and I sang it like I was him.
Yeah.
And it was probably the first time I ever sang on any original album that I was ever on.
Nice.
It's still one of my favorites, if not my favorite Tempestuous song.
I just remember you talking about it and how you know how you explained it to me and how you know what I mean, like you had an idea of something and it was in your head.
Yeah.
And dude took it. And again, I didn't know who exactly it was, but I remember the story because you were giving it to someone.
Yeah.
Where I honestly, dude, I've never done that. And I've always, you know what I mean? Like I've always wanted to elevate it to go, okay, I know I can write hooks, and I have before.
Yep.
It's just getting there and someone showing like, dude, it's really this simple, you know? And kind of
I still can't do what Dennis Asher does. There's no way I can.
Yeah.
But for that brief moment, I was able to be that singer.
Yeah.
And he still tells me all the time, he's like, dude, for that brief moment, I was in a metal band.
That's so cool, though.
So
man,
we get to
know?
we get to share that memory, which is kind of cool.
Hell yeah,
We should
dude.
listen to that.
Yeah, we should. We'll do that right now. Exactly. As a matter of fact, that's badass, though. You know, it's just a trip, man, to kind of go back and, you know what I mean, like, just you know, kind of analyze that stuff when you know. Again, I love the fact when people do that. They step outside of their comfort zone and they try something new. I mean, do you feel like that it did it push you in any other direction when you realized you could do it and you're like, oh man, that's...
Well, I think what it was for me was I had always wanted to get there. Like I had been evolving. I've always been more cadence based, but I've always thrown little hooks in.
Yeah.
But I was always more just about that delivery and that smack in your face vocally. And then later on in the late Avalanche stuff, before it broke down, I was starting to find pitches, starting to find notes that I wanted to use to give that melody in there. But I was also doing it with a lot of scratch and a lot of grit to make it heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a flotsam and jetsam kind of thing. It was always gritty. It was more like a Bobby Blitz kind of thing to find those notes. Right. So I wanted to go further. And with this song, it was so pretty and clean in the front half of it. I'm like, I don't want scratch on that. I don't want to wreck it with being too aggressive.
Right.
I'll get somebody that's not aggressive vocally necessarily and see what they bring to the table.
That's fucking badass. It's a great idea.
And it worked.
Oh yeah. All right, let's fucking take a listen to it. I got it queued up here. All right, well, we'll take a listen to
Denial.
Denial. It's not just a river. All right, I'll take a listen. God, that alley, man. Holy smokes. That's crazy, dude.
That was the shared alley behind the Alaster Cafe or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going in there and the bar's still open.
Yeah.
We come out and there's just vomit all over the ground. They're just walking through it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, don't put that in my van.
Oh, again with this. God, there we go with the sweet videos in the background. Why did I not remember to shut that off? Again.
You'll remember the third time.
Yeah, I think I will. I probably won't at all. That's it's my stoner brain or whatever you call that.
That's fun.
So I wanted to ask you, did you get a chance to see the last Black Sabbath Ozzy thing?
I had a gig that day.
Oh.
I have seen several different
Clips of it?
clips.
Yeah.
I spent the whole afternoon trying to find somewhere I could stream the thing after the fact.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Somebody said it was on Twitch. I'm like, Twitch? What the fuck's that?
Yeah.
54 years old. I ain't on Twitch.
Yeah, right.
I'm barely on Instagram, and that's only because of the Stunner stage stuff.
Yeah.
So I've seen some stuff, but
What
I'd like
stuff
to
have
see
you
more.
seen, and was there any standouts that you can think of? I mean, you're old school. You remember all that shit.
Well, again, I will say that the Billy Corgan thing, I'm not a fan. I mean,
Didn't even see it.
I know Billy Corgan is a Black Sabbath. He grew up on metal,
Right.
but come on, dude, he's smashing pumpkins.
Yeah.
And he's got that voice.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing like Priest. He wasn't even doing Sabbath.
Yeah.
And it was one of the super groups together, and it was basically, oh, Billy Corgan's here, put him on stage with somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be a basher, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah. With the Billy Corgan thing.
Yeah, it just wasn't. But Nuno back in court for the little
Killed
super
it.
group thing, doing everybody shit.
Did you hear the interview that he did?
No.
Kind of right after it.
Mm-mm.
He told the guy, he was like, they only were going to give me like 3 songs. That's what he said.
And he's like, I ain't
Well,
getting.
he's talking about, and I'm going, who the fuck's he? He says Tom. I go, who the hell's Tom? Well, it's Tom Morello was the guy who put everything together, right?
Did he pull like a Slash and just say, I ain't getting off stage? Fuck you.
No, what he did was he was like, Tom basically divvied up all the
Yep.
songs. So he gave Nuno like 2 or 3 songs.
Yep.
And then something happened where somebody wanted to play with this guy, and so he switched up and he's like, hey, so-and-so wants to do this, but he doesn't want to do that. Do you mind taking a couple more songs? So then he goes, it was like 4 or 5. And then he said, Jakey Lee got added to it, and Jakey said that he was honest with Tom and said, there's some stuff that I can't play.
Right.
And so he said,
Oh, that's why Nuno doubled him.
and that's why Nuno said, okay, well, I can do that. So if you notice on, I believe it was Bark at the Moon, I think it was.
The Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin. I
Ultimate
think
Sin.
is-
Okay,
yeah.
so it was Ultimate Sin. Wait, I think it was Bark at the Moon.
Okay.
Either way,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
one of those two. And Nuno says in this interview, he said, I knew that he still could do a lot of it, but he's like, I knew that he didn't want to play by himself because he didn't feel comfortable. So he said, if you notice, I started tuning, and then he just walked off stage. He goes, because I respect Jakey Lee that much that I wanted him to take his thing. So when he went into the solo, Nuno walked off stage and he didn't come back out. So when he came back in and they're playing, it's just Jakey Lee doing his thing. And dude, listening to that thing, because I hit Tannic up right away. I'm like, dude, because him and I talked about Nuno. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? I'm watching Nuno play with changes with Youngblood.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was pretty good.
Dude, my daughter is a huge I've seen Youngblood in concert with my daughter before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, how's this going to be? And then I watch it, and I watched a review of it before. So the guy says, he comes out, he says, hi, I'm Youngblood, this is this, and everybody's kind of like, who the fuck is this, right? So he says the second verse is when everybody goes, whoa, this kid's got chops.
Yeah, because he laid it out there just kind of normal.
Yeah.
And then he started hitting notes.
Wailing.
Yeah.
It's like he started warming himself up as he's going, and then he started wailing. And then, like he's feeling it. You can see Nuno, and Nuno says how he played it. He goes, well, if you listen to the original, it has none of what I was doing there.
Yeah.
He goes, but every time I listen to that song, I heard this behind it. So if you watch it, you hear him noodle in like, in the vibe of it. You know what
He
I'm
got
saying?
to be an original player on Changes.
Dude,
That's cool.
he did like 12 or 15 songs, he said. He said
That's awesome.
it basically was like one person didn't want to do this, the other person wanted to do that. And he was like, I learned all the stuff for Randy because he was doing all the Randy stuff. And he's like, I grew up on it. And then he goes, people start asking me this, and hey, Nuno, can you do these? And then I'll do this. And so, it was one of the coolest. I sent it to Tannic. It's one of the coolest interviews ever.
I think he's a genius when it comes to guitar.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's always
oh my
been
God.
great.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see. I mean, he took like a very long break, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And now he's back. And it's like perfect because we could really use a Guitar Hero about now.
Now, who did you, now looking at the clips, and were there any other clips that you thought like stood out to you or anything like that?
No, it was mostly those jam bands, to be honest. It was cool to see that. The odd thing is the thing that stood out to me more than anything over that whole weekend was the Jack Black thing that he did. The Mr. Crowley with the kids, with Morello's kid, with Ian's kid, and Jack is singing it so good.
So good, dude.
It's like
with the fucking frilly shirt and everything.
Yeah. So that stood out more than the concert. I mean, the concert stands out. It's amazing musicians all day long. I mean, Metallica does their thing. Slayer, the reunion Slayer, that's great too.
Did you watch that whole set?
No, because again, I've only seen clips.
Crushed it.
I've only seen clips. And of course, with the Anthrax thing, I saw like a Jason Momoa clip where he's like backstage behind Charlie Benante shooting shit, and that was cool, But I am, when they're talking about releasing it as a movie.
Oh, I'm sure to be.
I'll be watching it then. Yeah. Or if somebody's got it
bootlegged,
send me a link.
Yeah, me too.
Send me a link.
I want to see it too, man. Send it to me.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of different things that I wrote down. Have you seen the Sean Ryan interview with Dave Mustaine?
No.
A fan? Are you Megadeth fan?
It's one of those things where it's like, honestly, I hate Dave Mustaine's voice.
Yeah, me too.
So much.
Yeah.
But I cannot deny that the fucking songs are great.
Yeah.
So it's like, I hate it. I will never put them on.
Yeah.
But if they're on, I fucking sing along.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm such a hypocrite.
Gives you a migraine headache.
I'm a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
But I mean, Megadeth musically is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to watch it, it's a great interview all the way through. And it's crazy because they dodged the Metallica shit. Like, he goes deep into the interview, and you're like, okay, maybe he's just over it. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe he's just over it. He's not going to drudge up the past.
Been doing it for 30 years.
Dude,
I'm good.
Dude.
You have he goes in.
Oh, he goes deep, dude, and it's great. Now, if you're old school like I am, so the whole drama that went with it. Yeah. When he gets to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is real good. I was like, oh, this is what the fucking 15-year-old me wanted to hear, but way back then. What do you mean he was drunk? That type of thing. And then
I'll check that out.
Have you seen Murder in the?
Oh yeah, I went to the Alamo Draft House when that fucker came out.
So so in that whole movie, they just praised Dave Mustaine for his guitar playing, and everything, and it's legit, man. Everybody, and he calls out Metallica for use of other bands' material and shit.
Oh yeah,
he goes off. So it's amazing. Now I got one more for you.
Okay.
Did you see the Billy Milano interview with Texas Joe? He's like this.
No, but I heard I read the headline where he's talking about Benante and Ian just being pieces of shit.
Dude,
I do want to see it. So
it's
that
great.
Is that an actual?
Yes.
Is it an article I have to read?
No, it's a YouTube. It's YouTube. You can go watch it.
I'm old, fat, and lazy, so I don't want to read.
If you like YouTube at all, or you're fat and lazy and like to watch YouTube, it's all three of those the Black Sabbath clips. You already did that. Yep. If you haven't seen the Sean Ryan interview, even just to the Metallica shit, you will be thoroughly.
I love that shit. I listen to podcasts on the way to work and back.
Yeah.
So now you've got me into that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
And then, like I said, the Billy Milano thing is really in depth. He really goes into how it was built, how everything broke down, how he protected Metallica back in the day when they came to the hardcore clubs that he was bouncing at. Oh, it gets really, really in depth to the point where you know Billy, you've seen him. He's always been that boisterous fucking.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how he got the gig.
Yeah.
It was like he wasn't a musician or a singer until they made him one.
He's a bass player.
Yeah. But they were like, there you go.
Yeah.
Step up front.
You got to watch it. It's really, really good, especially because you're from the old school thrash time. And he explains how it all comes together. And Dan Lilker, dude, he makes fun of Dan Lilker so much. It's hilarious. He's like, Dan's always been put me on stage, man. Where's my beer? And he just like totally, nuclear assault.
I remember practicing at Ryan's, coming downstairs after practice on like a Thursday night or a Wednesday night, walked into the bar, grabbed the City Pages, which you always did back then on a Wednesday. And I remember walking out, and a fucking van comes pulling up around the corner, slams on the brakes, shotgun position, window rolls down. Dan Lilker sticks his head out, and he goes, "Hey, man, where's the stage door?" And I'm like, right around there and down the alley. And then thanks, man. And they leave, and I'm like, did that just fucking happen? And I think it was Brutal Truth.
Yeah.
Was playing Ryan's that night. I had no fucking idea. I go upstairs and I'm like, I think I just saw Danny Lilker
He's
pulling into Ryan's.
Yes.
And Wally's like, bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. And they played Ryan's that night.
Yeah.
I love that fucking bar. I've seen so many fucking bands there.
What stands out to you? What bands really stand out to you from all those years?
So the biggest one, and I just played Ultimate Fanboy last year about it. Armored Saint came.
Yeah.
It was Delirious Nomad tour.
Okay.
And they played Ryan's. I'm 16, 17 maybe. Pat, Ma, lets me come. It's a fucking bar gig, 21 plus show. Armored Saint, full regalia. You know, Dave Pritchard on guitar, redhead fucking going crazy, about a year before he passes.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it. They're so fucking incredible. After the show, Ma's like, "You want to meet him?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to meet him." 17-year-old kid. Takes me down into the catacombs of Ryan's.
Yeah.
Before they had built any of the actual offices down there, so it's like just
open.
The walls are fucking falling apart. They've got like a fucking chicken wire cage where they keep all the alcohol.
Yep.
So she takes me to the back corner. It's like the south corner. And here's Armored Saint sitting on folding chairs in the corner with a fucking open case of fucking Michelob and a fucking bottle of JD. They're all in their white terry cloth robes.
Yeah.
Sweaty as fuck, just got off stage.
Yeah.
Obviously no shower. Yeah. So they're all just sweaty in their robes to be in their robes.
Right.
And I get introduced to him, and Gonzo gives me a signed snare head. And it's like the biggest fanboy of my life. It was the biggest moment at Ryan's Corner. Fast forward damn near 30 years later, and Tony Williams is on the road with Armored Saint for 8 weeks. And they're not coming here, but they're going to, I think it was Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to go." I drove to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, got there during sound check, was able to walk in and film them during sound check. And they're there, and I get introduced, and they're all like, "Hey, cool," and they're all doing their thing. And then John Bush comes over to me, and he shakes my hand, and we're sitting there for a second, and I'm like, he goes, "Oh, it was a long drive?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was worth it, though. It's cool. You driving back tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm driving back tonight and stuff." "Oh, right on." And then we're watching Queensryche set up for their sound check or whatever. And then I go, "I just got to tell you, man, when I was 17,
yeah.
and I gave him the story, and I'm like, I don't want to be a fanboy, but I just got to tell you." And he's like, "Right on, man. I'm going to go." And like totally fucking blew it. I was like hanging out with John Bush and everything. And, "Oh, cool, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to go."
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my moment.
I've been there so many times, dude. Just
another great band that played Ryan's back then, though, Sabotage.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of the Mountain King, they played there. A lot of bands would play. They'd come to Ryan's, and then they'd play First Ave the next time they came around.
Yeah.
Pantera came to Ryan's on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then Cowboys from Hell broke, and next thing you know, they're at First Ave, packed, whatever. Disturbed with David Draymond.
Yeah.
Was at Ryan's on like a Thursday night.
Yeah.
I mean, so many bands.
I wish it was still there.
I hear he got booed at the Black Sabbath thing. Thank God.
Yeah. And now it's like really bad. They're like going after each other, him and Tom. He's going after Tom Morello. Tom Morello's blasting him because, he's signing fucking bombs for Israel and all this shit.
Oh, God.
So he gets into the political shit, and then they, he's Jewish. He's a Jewish guy. That's Jews hang out for Jews.
I thought they were just yelling at him because he's fucking David Draymond.
Right.
and he sucks.
He's a fucking asshole.
And he's an asshole.
He's a complete asshole. I met him. Paul Dockendorf got us some tickets to go see Evanescence. It was Korn, Evanescence, Disturbed, and a couple other bands out at Float Right. And he was like, I was like, dude, my daughter, her favorite band is Evanescence, you know. And he's like, I got you, don't worry about it. So we show up and we got backstage and we're hanging out and we're in line to meet Korn. And my daughter's like, oh, she doesn't really know Korn, but she's heard it, you know what I mean? She's standing there and all of a sudden Evanescence comes out and David Draymond comes out. And so my daughter's like, oh my God, can we go meet Evanescence? So we walk over and Paul introduces us to her and she introduces to the whole band and they took pictures of us. They're super cool. David Draymond comes over and he just fucking being an asshole to like his people, the kids in the area. Like he was just a douche, you know? And I was like, I'm pulling my daughter away, like, stay away from him. He's bad. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
He's a bad man.
Just a jerk, you know what I mean? And you just see, and he stole my friend's band's name. You know, fuck off, you know? He said, you know, I remember talking to Earl about that, you know, and he's like, we got a cease and desist. And he's like, we're about to sign the contract, you know? They got signed and they're about to sign the contract and now they're about to be in a name war. And I'm like, well, why did you fight it? You know, and he goes, because I got so-and-so from Northeast Minneapolis. They got Sony Records. You know?
Yeah, right.
A big difference, you know?
Right, yeah.
That's always a good Earl story.
I just remember seeing Disturbed at Ryan's and thinking, what the fuck is this dude in the jumpsuit all about? Yeah. It was before Slipknot, before all that. Yeah. Here he's pretending to be some crazy, like, mental ward dude with the ahs and everything. And I'm like, okay.
He reminded me of that what's that old Looney Tunes, that ooh, ee, ooh, ah.
Yeah. But it was that kind of thing. I mean, I had seen some great bands on a Thursday. I remember when Stuck Mojo showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Stuck Mojo was amazing.
Yeah.
So fucking killer. And then, you know, half that band ended up going out and hooking up with Chris Jericho from WWE and becoming Fozzy. But Stuck Mojo, I love that shit.
Was it the guitar player, right?
Yeah, guitar player Rich.
Rich, yeah.
Yeah. And then I can't remember what the singer rapper guy's name was. I'm old, but I remember
it was like it was
25 years ago.
It was like one name
thing. It was like a Mojo kind of thing, but he was so good and such a nice guy too. You know, that was great. I just loved all that shit. It was a great time to be at Ryan's when you had the studios right above. Yeah. There was something happening every fucking night. Yeah. Every night.
And built-in parties every weekend. There was always great parties there. After.
I mean, we would get done with an Avalanche show, and the other thing that was great about that was we'd load our gear into a fucking elevator, take it up to the second floor, we'd be done.
Yep.
No trucks, no 3 vehicles, none of that shit, just done.
Yep. I got to taste that with Sublevel when we had our studio up there, and you know I hadn't talked to Decker for 6 years, and all of a sudden I look out the window and he's on the corner sitting there listening. Greg, I fucking knew that was you, you know, because we haven't released any of the Sublevel shit yet, and all of a sudden he's out there. He's like, "You want to open up for DRI?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I do," but you're paying me. You're paying me all the money, dude.
I remember he told me once we played 7th Street Entry, and at the time the Avalanche did this like 30-second thing of Iron Maiden's The Trooper, but we did it in death metal.
Yeah.
You know, and we would always, after the first chorus, we were done. It was just kind of like a nod, like, we can do that too if you want. Yeah. If that's what you wanted, we can do that.
Yeah.
And I remember him coming up to me, and it was packed. They were moshing. It was a packed room, 7th Street Entry. And he runs up to me, and he's moshing around, and we end at that chorus, and we're done. And he's like, "You play the rest of that song, I'll give you the Testament show." And I looked at him like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Because I was like, again, we knew each other. Yeah. I didn't like being used.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we rubbed each other the wrong way sometimes.
Me too.
He was a good guy, but we rubbed each other the wrong way sometimes. Yeah. And I felt like, if you really wanted it, give us the show. Don't say, if you do this for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, come on, brother.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, he heard you. Like, you want to do the DRI gig. Yeah. He heard us play death metal for 30 seconds. You want to do the Testament gig.
He told me, he's like, "I'll pay you," right? So he's like, "But you guys got a backline." And I said, "Okay, no problem." So day of the show, we're in the alley, and we get the first set of cabinets out. We roll them in, right? And he's like, gives me $300. And I go, "The deal was $600. And he looks at me and goes, "I'll pay you afterwards." I go, "Nope, not. All right, roll those two back out here. They started rolling them
you
back
get
out.
half.
Whoa. He goes, you know, they're here. And I go, I don't give a fuck. You told me $600. I want fucking $600. He put it in my hand. Now, this is the first time in all those years with Necromus. I'm talking years that we did shows for him and never got paid for nothing. We did all the flyer work. We were out there busting our ass, and he just fucked us every single time. So when it was my time to have the fucking ball in my court, I was like, not again, dude. You're going to pay me for the shit that I do nowadays. And he respected me for that after that, you know?
Right. And maybe at the end of that day too, we shared that same thing because I liked what he did for bands.
Yeah.
I didn't like sometimes how he kind of screwed bands.
Yeah.
But I didn't need him.
Yeah.
And I told him that.
Yeah.
And I think we respected each other after that.
Yep.
Because, you know, and again, like we said at the beginning of this, Avalanche missed out on a lot.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get into that.
Yeah.
But
you had a safe space. You guys had, you know, when I look at that situation and like, you know, you looking at it from your perspective and saying, yeah, we missed a lot. But there were a lot of people that wanted to get on some of those shows. You know what I remember? I remember you guys doing very well and coming to those shows just to party, to hang out with everybody that was there anyway, because, you know, half my East Side friends and everybody that we all mutually knew were at your guys' shows or the regime shows. You know what I mean? You guys had a clique there, and it was difficult. If you weren't let into that circle, you weren't getting in. So it was the same thing around. You know what I mean? Like you had it from your aspect and all of us on the other side, because I didn't. Like I said, I stayed away from Ryan's. I didn't like the set.
I swear I thought I got sub-level 13 to play one show, but maybe it was just my fantasy to have you guys play one show with us.
Maybe you did. Maybe you did, and I just don't remember, because it was like them early days. There are a lot of things that I didn't remember with that when we were coming out, you know, just putting it together.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the infancy of it all.
Right.
You know,
oh, it's phenomenal. I still, like I said, I remember going up to the room and just sitting there listening to you guys write, going, oh, man. This is killer.
Fun stuff, man.
Yep. And now what? Ramirez is playing Linkin Park. You know,
right?
But hey, he is having a blast, and I love him too. You know, he's enjoying it just like I am. We're still playing music at 50.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah. I wish I still was. That's for sure. You know.
Oh, believe me, you say that loud enough, somebody's going to drag you back in.
Well, you know, I've had offers, and I've tried to put some things together, but again, you know, like you said, you can create a super group, but sometimes that vibe just isn't there. And you know, again, I've been super lucky when it comes to the guys that I've been able to jam with. That's another thing that I envy about you and Al and you guys that have been out here doing it a long time. You guys have jammed with a lot of different folks. You've jammed with a lot of the same folks, but you've expanded your horizons where, you know, I found these cats and I just stayed with them and rode it out to the end. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we all, from that era, we all still did that. I mean, if you think about, my orbit still has Walter in that orbit.
Why would you ever want him not to be? I mean, he's such an incredible musician, and being a player yourself, you can always, I mean, even though his brother's a bass player, it doesn't even matter. You know, you can, again, you're versatile. You can do all this different stuff, especially with the Napathy thing. And
I will say yes and no.
Yeah.
I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
I can play bass. I can play bass and sing.
Yeah.
I can't play bass like Wally plays guitar.
Yeah.
And I can't play bass like Wally plays guitar and sing.
Right.
So there are definitely limitations there. You know, there's certain stuff, like if Walter would, some of the riffs that he was writing in the end with the Avalanche stuff, I'd have to play 1/3 of what he's playing to even come close to playing it.
He's been ridiculous since we were kids, though, dude. God. I've always had mad respect for that dude.
He always wanted to have something where there was no governor on him, where he could just do whatever the fuck he wanted. And in every band we were in until 99, there was always another player.
Yeah.
There was always someone there. Now, for the most part, that was Wayne Enns.
Yeah.
And Wayne Enns and Wally Borgen, they're the same cat, except Wally can play leads. Yeah. And Wayne could play leads too if he wanted to.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But they pushed each other like you would not believe. They would compete, and they would write riffs to purposely fuck with the other person so that the other person got better.
Right.
That's why Avalanche was what Avalanche was.
Right.
Those two amazing guitar players pushing each other all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and then you put a drummer in there like you know, Dave Johnson.
Right.
I mean, even Aaron Ryan. Aaron Ryan in the first couple of years, his feet, I mean, his double kicks were amazing.
Yeah.
And he hit the toms like he was pounding them. I look at it this way. It was like Aaron Ryan was like a Louis Clemente from Testament, where those riffs, like if it was a chug, chug, chug riff, those toms were chug, chug, chug. He was very much articulated like that. I felt like Aaron was a lot of that, where it was just like, give me your riff. I'm going to power that fucker through.
Yeah.
And when Dave came in, it was a different type of guy. Like, give me a riff. I want to write something that competes with it.
Right.
You know? So we were really lucky to have two great drummers.
So, I mean, you guys are, I mean, it sounded like from the very inception of that band, you guys were just trying to like push each other further and further and further when it came to writing and playing out. And,
oh, yeah.
you know, when you have enough time to like write shit to fuck with the other guy, you're really pushing your talents to go further. You know what I'm saying?
But we were also 15, 16, 17 years old. What did you do but go to school and play guitar?
right.
That's all you
Chase
did.
women.
No, it wasn't even that.
Yeah.
Maybe drunk after a party on a Saturday night, you might go, oh, she's looking at me. But other than that, it was school and guitar.
Right.
And sometimes not even school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just the way they were, you know.
All right, so I've been pushing this off just to get to this particular spot because
Okay.
I know. So how did you get into doing Stunner Stage? How did this all come to be? You've been a part of this music scene for a long time. I can't even imagine how many fucking people you've known from the old days, you know, from early days to all of the cover stuff that you've done, all of the amazing shows, the festivals. Dude, you've played some amazing gigs and been out there for so long. What made you want to get behind a fucking microphone and talk to other people about music?
You know, I think part of it is, like tonight, we're talking about what musicians talk about.
Yeah.
We talk about stories.
Mm-hmm.
We're just always talking about our past and what we did, right? Where I started thinking, this is so weird. It comes down to, I took the wife's van on a Sunday afternoon because I wanted to go and pick up something from my studio.
Yeah.
And in my wife's van is a CD player.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a fucking CD player in their car anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I'm going to be in the van all day. I'm going to bring some CDs. And I brought The Regime. I think I brought Kickhead. I brought, God, there was like two other ones that I brought. The Regime went in, it didn't come out.
Yeah.
So I was listening to that the whole time. And I started thinking about it like, nobody's telling those stories. Everybody's talking about what they're doing now, what's coming up next, where they're going to be next week, come see my band, all that. But nobody's talking about The Regime, Slave Raider, Power Mad. Nobody's talking about those bands. But realistically, without those fucking bands, there wouldn't be the bands we have now. So I thought about it then, and I reached out to Scott Yauk, and I said, listen, I want to just have a conversation with you. I know you. I've known you since I was 16.
Yeah.
But I don't know what got you turned on to music. I don't know what made you think music was what you wanted to do. And then it started to kind of germinate where that's something I want to know from everybody.
Yeah.
Where did music start for you? You're fucking 45 years old, 50 years old, and you're still doing it, but you've been doing it for 30 years. It didn't start there. Where did it start?
Yeah.
How did it start?
Yeah.
What was your inspiration?
Sure.
So I talked to Scott about it. He said, yeah, I'd love to do it. I live in Wisconsin now, but I'll come over and do it. And I was like, I want to do this. And then I just decided to do one. I called Dennis Asher, who I've been in a band with for 12, 13 years. He came over.
What projects were you in with Dennis?
Dennis was always covers. I mean, Jason Zimmerman, who was in a band called In the Morning, played at Dean's Tavern. Remember Dean's Tavern?
I do.
So I helped get that off the ground with the owners of Dean's Tavern back then. And I helped them build the stage, all of that. We started bringing real bands in there. In the Morning was a band I booked to play there. and I met Jason Zimmerman, and I was talking to Zimmerman after TNT, the AC/DC tribute that I was in, finally disbanded. And I took a break, and I said, I want to put another band together, but I don't know what I want to do, because after you do an AC/DC tribute, what's the next tribute you got to do? You got to do something that's got hits.
Right.
So we decided on a Foo Fighter tribute, and he goes, I got the perfect guy. And he reached out to Dennis Asher. So the first time I met Dennis, physically met him and became his friend, I knew of him from Cold Cranking Amps and Casanatra and all these other things, but we met when we got together to do the Foo Fighter thing.
Yeah.
And been friends ever since.
It's badass, dude.
13 years of that. So he was my first guest. And the second thing I wanted to do in this whole podcast thing was, I want to ask somebody that I know or kind of know where it started for them.
Yeah.
But then the other thing I wanted to do was I wanted two people that were in the same band to interview each other and ask them that.
Now, what was your angle on that? Like, what made you say? Because I've seen a couple episodes where you have, you had Josh and Bill together.
Yeah.
Amazing, because Josh has been such a fan of Bill's for so many years. You know what I mean? And Josh has been around forever. He's like, all of those guys are like us. You know what I mean? They've been around for fucking.
Dude, ever. Josh and I were fans and friends in high school.
Yeah.
We used to hang out in State of Mind's basement and watch them play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've known Josh forever.
Long
back
time.
in the Impact Wrench days and all that.
Yeah.
It was another expounding factor where I can be the guy and I can interview somebody and ask them the questions and do that.
Yeah.
Great. Love doing that. But I just want to hear the stories.
Yeah.
So how am I going to know what story to pull out of you?
Yeah.
Better than somebody that's been in a band with you. They're going to know what story to pull out of you. And then if you shared a story, it's going to be so vivid because you're both going to pile on.
Yeah.
I had Tony Williams and Chris Valentino do one, and it was great. And I'm in a band with them at the time. But I got to hear all the stories of Stasia and them going to the West Coast and opening for King's X, and then them opening for Marilyn Manson. And so I got to hear those stories. I wouldn't have known to ask if it was just me interviewing Tony to ask about those.
Yeah.
So it was just one more variable. I don't get enough of those. I still want to do more of those.
Yeah.
But most people are just kind of like, yeah, I'll come in. Not I'll come in with so-and-so. I do have one scheduled next month where I'm doing another team up like that.
Nice.
And it's two people that met for the first time at one of the All-Star Jams.
Yeah.
And they now are in different bands doing different things, but that's where they met. And so they've met in their 40s.
Yeah.
Do they even have a clue as to where music started for either of them?
Right.
So it's really stipulated down to 5 questions that I ask every one of them, and I get different stories.
Yeah.
You're going to come on, so I'm not going to even tell you what the questions are yet. But it's just more getting that knowledge from that person of who that person is musically.
What tickles you enough to get those stories? Like, what is it about that triggers you?
I just really think that musicians like to know road stories.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And it's a shared thing. You have a story of what turned you on to music.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah.
Not everybody's got that story because not everybody becomes a musician.
Right.
Some people don't like music. Yeah. Holy shit, who the fuck are they? I don't want to hang with them.
I was just talking to my cousin, my young cousin, my daughter's age, she's 18,
Yeah.
And we were talking about music, and I asked her, I said, so when you wake up, do you turn music on? And she's like, no, not really. Yeah. And I go, see, to me, that's weird.
Right.
And I'm married I've been with a woman for 21 years, and if I say we should listen to something, she'll put something on, but it's not like she just goes, oh, hey, and puts it on and starts cleaning or doing whatever.
Right.
Where my daughter and I are, she's the same as my mom was. I'm the same as my mom was. I'm the same as my uncle was. I'm the same as all of the people that influenced me because music was always in my orbit no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. With me, it was when we'd clean the house on Saturday.
Yep.
We always had the Moody Blues or the Beatles on.
Yeah.
But again, we'll get into that when we talk.
Yeah.
But that's where it came from. And then the other thing that just kind of really struck me hard about a month or two ago, the age that I'm at,
Yeah.
the connections that I have.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people that were getting into music when hard rock really started to happen.
Right.
We're talking to people that were listening to Chuck Berry, not Kiss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it blew me away because it really put into perspective what a short period of time we've lived in. Because I can communicate with people that really are the first ones that ever cut up the cones on their fucking speakers to get distortion.
Right.
Like, we literally are standing on the shoulders of giants that came before us.
Right.
So if you think that you're the shit and you're fucking incredible, it's like, dude, you ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Because you didn't invent this.
No.
There are people alive today.
They didn't either, though. That's the sad thing.
That they took that and fucking...
Yeah.
Before that, it was like fucking Steely Dan and shit. There was no fucking metal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you could talk to Ozzy. You could talk to Tony Iommi.
Yeah.
We've got some of that here. Did you ever hear of a band called The Litter?
I have not, no.
The Litter was here in the 60s.
Okay.
And I've heard some of their music. It was like The Doors meets the Beatles.
Wow.
In the 60s, when the Doors and the Beatles were doing their thing.
Right.
And they were right here
Right.
in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
That band eventually ended. Some of those band members formed an agency called Marsh Productions.
Gotcha.
Marsh Productions was before Rock Central or ARM.
Yep.
And Marsh Productions had all those bands that were going around like Obsession and Assassin and
I remember all these
older bands, right?
My aunt actually brought up Obsession because her and her girlfriends used to follow Obsession around.
And you could then, because they would play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at this place, and they would play Friday and Saturday at this ballroom, take Sunday off, and start it again somewhere else. You could go and actually hang with a band 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
Because there was no internet.
Right.
There was no MTV. There was nothing else to do other than go out and watch live music.
Yeah.
I came in at the end of that. When I was 17, I came in when the best bands were playing the weekends.
Yeah.
They weren't doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
So to me, it's so cool that I can talk to these people and learn about this.
Yeah.
Frank Kohler, do you know who Frank is?
I don't.
Frank Kohler used to sing for the Eternal Teenagers.
Okay.
He's now in the Wayward Boys Club, lead singer of that. But he's 75, I think, this year.
Yeah.
We were talking about when he lived in Joliet, Illinois, before he came up here and joined Chameleon. His high school, Styx played it.
Wow.
Just as the high school band plays. They weren't signed. They weren't huge. They weren't nothing. They were just a local band playing his high school dance.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, how you can connect with that history.
Yeah.
So it turned into me wanting to know stories to now me like, I want to know history, man.
Right.
I want to know musical history about here.
Well, and the those cats, us being in our 50s now, those cats are way older than us, and that legacy and that history is slowly going away.
Which is why I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
that's a great idea, man. It's
so
amazing.
I've got I'm doing Mick Sterling's right now. I got to edit that and put that out hopefully within the next week and a half. Great conversation with him talking about how he was inspired by Elton John.
Nice.
Just different things like that, and it's just great to get the stories.
That's awesome, man.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you feel it's going so far? Are you doing now? When I got into it, obviously you want to try to make money from a hobby that you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And that's, we talked about that before we went on air. And you were kind of surprised that I'm not monetized yet. And I tried every angle from the beginning because I was doing just audio when I first started. And then I started to dabble into YouTube. And then I left YouTube alone for many years. I did, a handful of episodes, probably 20, and I put them on YouTube. And then I just left my whole channel just sitting there. And I went to Jared Singer's place, and he was doing live stuff. And then I realized, just streamlining it and slowly learning how to do this. And I didn't want to edit. I didn't want to do this. And so getting to know what other people were doing got me more interested in doing the video part of it. So then I got rid of the audio and I went all to video. Now, when I went to video, I was like, holy shit, I've got 66 subscribers. This is great. This is huge, And then it bounded to 100 and then to 200. And now I've been stale at like 470, 480, right around there.
Okay.
So like and subscribe if you're
right.
listening. But and that's the hardest thing, because you don't know whether or not your content's hitting where it should. And we were talking about off air too, that algorithms and the shorts and streamlining your content and making it more genre specific.
Yeah, a niche. Find your niche.
Yeah, and I've been told that many times, but again, I go back to the passion of it and why I did it and why I started it. And I can narrow it down to a couple things. It would be Earl Root, the root of all evil, and to this day, we were watching, your tempestuous video, and I said that I was like, oh, the root of all evil, and I say that because back then we could call Earl if we just released something that day. I remember releasing the first Necromus tape and calling him and going, dude, we got to bring it on down, let's go, and then the gore checks and everything. That's why I started. And I did it on Friday nights instead of Saturdays. And then, I tried to get Tim Honerbrink on, and like, I wanted that history of all those people that were a part of it and putting this together. And then, riffs happened here and things happened there. And now I look and you got Gene down there, you've got Elena, you got Josh, and you've got all these other people that are involved in it now, and they're all great people. And to see it, keep going. But again, the hobby for me, and again, I love the stories too. It fuels me.
Well, to go back to the original part of your question on like the monetization, when I started it had nothing to do with that. It still really doesn't have anything to do with it. The only thing that it'd be nice to get something out of it, it would be amazing to get something out of it because of all the work that you put into it.
Yeah.
But I do it again just for the stories.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to hang out with somebody that I know but I don't know.
Right. Like
tonight, we've known each other for over 30 years.
Yeah.
But we're probably 2 hours into this and it feels like we've been here for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the connection and the community
Yeah.
that musicians have that I don't necessarily think a lot of people share.
Right.
I mean, you think about when you're a teenager and you go to that party on the weekend and you're there just to mingle with people. Those aren't all musicians, but they're people you're mingling with, right? And you love all your community. And then you move on to life and then you stop going to parties.
Yeah.
Musicians are always the party.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
When we hang out, I mean, we hung out front, and
three of us. Yeah.
The three of us just randomly and talked stories for 15 minutes. We just sunk right in.
Yeah.
It's how the community bonds is telling those stories.
Yeah.
So to me, it was one of those things. Like, I came into that scene at 16. I was just a punk kid. And now I'm old enough and I've weathered enough that I can talk to these people that are still with me. Some of them have passed and I'll never get that time back.
Right.
But the ones that are still with me, I can talk to them. And some of them are like, oh yeah, I know that kid. I'll chat with him. I know that 54-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I'll chat with him.
Yeah.
I had Billy Thayer on, who was in Machine Head, the local Deep Purple tribute.
Yeah.
He was also in Counterattack back in the day, Playground for a second. But I had him on the show, and he is from a musical family, the Thayer brothers.
Yeah.
7 boys, no girls.
Yeah.
Music since he was born, because they're all musicians.
Yeah.
So hearing that story.
Here, play this.
Drums since he could barely walk.
Yeah.
So hearing those stories and hearing all that, and he has become my biggest advocate. He had so much fun. He connected me with Mick Sterling, who I did one with. He's now given me Jeff Litke's from Power Mad,
Yeah.
number to get in touch with them. I'd love to do a Power Mad one.
Yeah.
They're so elusive. They've been mysterious forever. But I saw an old interview with them, and they were just like us as kids, where they were cocky and snotty and just poking fun and
Did you get to hang with those guys back in the day?
No. Again, the first time I saw Power Mad was First Avenue, and they opened for Slayer, and I think it was Kubla Khan, Power Mad, Overkill, and then Slayer. So
that's early time.
Oh my God. And it was an amazing show, and they were like, wow, these guys are great.
So they were still on their second EP, maybe?
Yeah, they had not gotten the reprise. It was before 90.
It was Terminator time.
It was Terminator, totally. And I was captivated. They were fucking amazing. I used to always call them Happy Thrash because they didn't tune down. They were in standard, and they were playing in major. It wasn't minor. It wasn't trying to be doomy like Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking cool as fuck.
I loved Absolute Power.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because like I say, called them Happy Thrash. 30 years later, now they got like fucking 9 strings and they're fucking down here and shit,
Yeah.
But Power Mad, man.
I roadied for them. I hung out with them a bunch because Cromlech was good buddies with them. You know what I mean? So with Necromus, we played with them guys all the time. So it was like we bumped elbows all the time.
That's what I mean. That's the stuff we missed.
Todd Haig, like I don't remember him until he got into Dodd.
Really?
Yeah, and then Dodd was like, "Oh yeah, Dodd played drums in Power Man." I'm like, "What?"
After Adrian Liberty.
Yeah, I'm like, "What the fuck?" I did not know that. I'm hanging out with Dodd every other weekend. He's like, "Yeah, I play drums in Power Man." I'm like, "What?" And I'm hanging out with. I've tried out to play fucking samples for Dodd, right?
Oh wow.
Sub levels, before sub level even. I was going to do samples for Dodd.
And I think didn't Vim get that gig?
I believe so.
I think that was when I first saw that. Brian Aguirre, otherwise known as Vim, moved over to samples. I'm like, this guy is one of the best guitar players in the city, and he's doing samples. But then again, like you said, outside the box, always growing, always learning. He's such a fucking great human being. He really is. I miss him. Not that he's gone.
I haven't seen him in so long. It's
Not
been
that he's
so long
gone
since I've seen him, man. He's such a good dude, man.
Yeah.
So level headed all the time for me, anyway. Anytime,
chill.
whenever. Yeah,
very chill.
Super chill. Labor of love, hobby, just taking it all in, seeing where it goes.
I think it's going to be the next chapter.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, at 54, and as much as I'm playing right now, I do see a retirement date for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just physically, it wrecks me.
I seen a picture of you.
Oh God!
You guys must have just now. What's the band you're doing? What bands are you in right now?
Hollywood Boulevard is the only band that I'm in right now.
Now, it was a picture of you guys. You guys must have just finished, and you're sitting on a chair, and the rest of the guys around you, and you look like you're like, let's get this picture over with. I'm ready to relax.
Oh, that was actually that was just a fun one. That was we were playing a casino, and our marketing photographer girl was like, I want to get a picture of the whole band, and her big thing was we want every picture to be venue specific.
Yeah.
So we're playing a casino.
Yeah.
So we all line up on the fucking slot machines.
Yeah.
And the whole band is like staring at their slot machine like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And you see me looking at the camera like, what the fuck am I doing with these fuckers? And that's just me. I'm just having fun. I just like to have fun. Sometimes I think I annoy the fuck out of them because I tend not to take a lot of things serious, and I tend to be...
You're jaded, dude. You've been around a long time.
I just tend to be an instigator. I'm like, dude, nothing is so fucking serious.
Right.
I would rather fuck with you all day and just piss you off.
Yeah.
You'll be pissed and flipping out, and I'll be going, why?
What's going on, dude?
Why are you mad?
Take it easy.
It's cool. It's all right.
That's
you need a
amazing,
Midol?
I absolutely love that. Just the outlook of that whole deal. You know what I mean?
It's just, I've always been that way. I think that's growing up with Walt. I mean, back in those days, you gave your best friend the most shit every
You
day.
weren't friends if you didn't, right?
You shredded that fucker to the point of you wanted to make him cry.
Yeah.
Because if you did, then you won.
Yeah.
But it was out of love. You didn't feel any of it.
Yeah.
It was,
So I just
Different world.
got done working at a job I worked at this place for 10 years. I hurt my back and I ended up working with Rob again, you know, and just recently, one of my ex coworkers sends me a message. Hey, you know, our coworker Sean, this, that. He met this new girl, you know, she's Hispanic. And he goes, this fucker, you know him, he goes all in with the chicks. And he's like, every day he's coming in, learning new Spanish words and everything. He's like, you got to give him shit, you know? So I send him Slowpoke Rodriguez and shit. And I'm like, so is this you now, dude? Now that you're dating a, you know, Hispanic girl? I'm like, so do you know what spicy food is now? You know, that you like real tamales, you know, because he loves to eat. So I'm just busting his balls. So just last week, one of my coworkers goes, he thinks he knocked that girl up. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And I'm like, tell me more. You know what I mean? So I send him a fucking hot Cheetos condom. And I go, you know, the Mexican girls like it spicy. These are okay to use. And he's instantly he goes, who told you? And I'm like, what's wrong, dude? And I'm sending him Hispanic Pampers and like all these things, you know, just fucking with them hardcore. Like, you know, when you meet a Hispanic family and you're the one white guy at the whole party and they're all looking at you like, you know what I mean? You're 23 hours into the party and they're still drinking Modelo looking at you, like, you know what I mean? So I know what you mean. You know, when you're comfortable with people and you start giving them a hard time and like razzing them. I grew up the same way, so I'm.
But in 2025, if somebody outside that circle hears you, you are the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and you're in trouble.
They go to that dude and they go, "What is wrong with that guy? Why is he so harsh on you?" What do you mean? That's my buddy.
Yeah. So I try to control it a bit more.
Yeah,
and I'm a little more PC. Yeah. But it's hard because I was raised in that era of rip on your friends,
right?
And they'll rip on you, and you grew a thick skin. And nothing really bothered you until you snapped and hurt someone.
Ross and I were talking about a mutual friend of ours, and he had mentioned it before. He's like, yeah, he likes to give people shit, but he don't like to take it, you know? And so we were laughing about it today. Before he got there, I was just like, man, that's just funny. Because, you know, the ones that give you a ton of shit, and then you just get them one good time, and they're mad at you for like a month.
Right.
I still like that text.
Right.
You still salty, buddy?
Yep, you're not really there until you take one for the team.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
So how many episodes are you in on Stunner's stage?
19. I never thought I was going to get more than 6 because they are a pain in the fucking ass to edit and put together, and nothing ever goes right. That's why I showed up an hour early today here to like pick your brain and look at your stuff, going, holy fuck!
Nothing still. Dude, nothing still ever goes right.
Listen, dude, I'm painting. I'm doing like finger painting in kindergarten, and you're at least in middle school.
Yeah, I can multiply and subtract a little bit. That's
I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's about it.
Well, I'll get there.
It looks good though, dude. I'm going to tell you, it looks good. I like what you're doing. You're on the right path. We've talked before the show. I mean, you had ideas that I'm still trying to grasp at this point too. You know, and that's why when we were talking, you know, I was like, if you have any questions, man, you're like, I will definitely pick your brain. But then when we were talking, again, the same with Jared Singer, when I was doing stuff with him and talking to him about stuff, I'd see how he would do it. It would change my stream. You know, it would change my flow of things. And I would focus on something different. Like, okay, I got to do that. And we talked about shorts. Now, when I went back, and I said this whole week I've been doing little things with shorts. I'm going to try to do this one a day for a month just to see where it's at. I'm going to go one a day for a month. Right. And I've been doing old death metal albums. I've been doing all this stuff. And then I'll probably do some reviews or like just some shit. And then I'll go through now you're telling me other ideas of how to do these shorts.
There's a beautiful AI tool out there that can take your long form video.
Yeah.
And do all the math and all the figuring out for you, and then give you like 100 different options of, do you want to use this one, or this one?
Yeah,
that to me is amazing. That you can, that the computer can edit what you've done for an hour, and say, this is interesting, this has potential to go viral, this has potential to do this. Otherwise, what you and I have done in the past is you take what you like, you have to spend time cutting that down, snipping that down, putting a zoom in here or dynamic zoom there or whatever, putting an animation in, putting in text, putting all that in. You're spending all that time doing that. These new AI tools do that for you.
Yeah.
You hit one button and then it gives you like 20 versions of something.
I really hate the fact. And I was talking to another musician. I was talking to Justin Fowler today.
Yeah.
And we were talking about composers that have been using AI
Oh,
and saying, you know, that the only he explained it like this: AI is able to write and complete full structures of music,
Yep.
right? And they can achieve the same thing that we can achieve because they use the variable of it all. You can never tell where a human is going to take a song.
Yeah.
It can be a variable at any turn, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, I was looking up this composer who's done, and he's explaining, you know, this soundtrack, and this soundtrack. And now he's explaining how he's using AI as a tool. And I'm just going, that's just nuts to me. And also, it feels like cheating, but yet, you know, you're using it to get to the end goal. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
but the other thing about that too is when you're doing your podcast,
Yeah.
in a way, unless you've got a team of people,
Yeah.
a team of people helping you develop your podcast,
Yeah.
you're on an island.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't realize I need to tweak something until something breaks.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, that didn't work that way. I need to do it this way, that way.
Right.
My podcast is very simple. It's 5 questions. We expand on those 5 questions. When those 5 questions are over, the podcast is over.
Right.
My podcasts go anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much we expand on the questions, right? I was thinking, like, how do I expand on this?
Mm-hmm.
It's very niche, like we talked about earlier. This is what it is. So I put into ChatGPT, and I'm on the internet. I'm out there. I just asked ChatGPT what would be interesting to hear on Stunner Stage Talking Minnesota Music. Just that.
Yeah.
And it came back with 17 different variables I could add to my podcast.
Yeah.
It examined my podcast and then said, you could do this, 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 and this, and this. I don't need to do all those, but there's maybe 3 of them I never would have thought of in a million years
nice
that
see
piqued my interest.
Yeah.
So that's where AI tool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, another thing too is you can ask it to write an ad. It'll write an ad.
Yeah.
And it might take it in a way you didn't think of, and then you go there and you tweak it. Just like when we were talking about earlier, how Tempestuous wrote Denial. And that entire intro, I knew what I wanted. I didn't know how to get it.
Right.
I asked Dennis Asher to give me his input.
So he was your ChatGPT.
And then I took what he gave and I said, this
Tweak it.
works,
Right.
but I need to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that I had no input into the writing of that moment? No, I had complete input. One is I asked somebody and I gave him direction.
Right.
And then I took what he gave and I tweaked it and molded it a little bit. Same thing we do in a band with other band members.
Right.
But again, you're on a podcast, you're on an island. This is just a tool you can use to help you think outside the box that you've built around yourself for years.
Dude,
You know?
my daughter's graduation was the first time that I had seen all of this on somebody else's desk. But they had everything more expensive. Same cameras, but the next upgrade from mine.
Yeah.
But pretty much, you know, laptop monitors,
Yep.
you know, ATEM mini, you know what I mean? And when I walked over, like I got my granddaughter in my arms, I come out of the bathroom and I see it and I just hand my granddaughter over to my wife and I stood there for 35 minutes talking to random people about, hey, what does that one do? Hey, what's this?
Yeah.
And he's like, looks at me and then he realizes I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I'm like, oh, I have one of these. I do this and I do that with it. And I'm like, so how do you do this? And he goes, oh, you really want to know about this? So now I'm the passing ship on the island. I look over and I go, holy shit, there's people on that island. And I go over to that island and the dude was like, why would you want to do it this way? You can do it this way. And he's telling me, and those little things, I came back to my studio that day and went, okay.
Yep. Well, when we came in today and you showed me your Streamcast over there, I saw somebody selling something similar to that a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And it made me think, do I
use that?
want to stream my stuff? Would that be easier? And so I know fundamentally what that does. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
I'm learning one piece at a time, and then I'm moving to the next piece.
I'm showing you all of it.
You're showing me the whole
No,
damn
I'll
picture.
show it all to you.
Yeah.
I'll show you whatever you want to know, dude. Anything that I can do. And like I said, I've been looking for a project for myself
Yeah.
to step away from this. And it's not that I don't want to do my podcast, that I do, but I also want to be able to produce something too and actually like say, oh, so this is what you're trying to achieve. Let's get it there. Let's work on it. Let's try to elevate it a little bit more, because again, I have always thought with this podcast, my process for this was not only the stories, but it was to raise all fucking boats with my tide. Or if these guys aren't getting out there enough, they're not promoting enough, let me help you. Let me try to do something for you. You know what I mean? Because it was given to me, dude. You know, it was given to me.
Right.
I was led into this lifestyle. I stumbled into it, dude. I wasn't meant to be a vocalist. I wasn't meant to do any of this. I just knew dudes that were doing it. They didn't have a guy who, so I did it. And I was like, hey, I can do that.
That's exactly how I became the singer of Avalanche.
Yeah.
I started out as a guitar player, but not a very good one.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to be part of the party.
Yeah.
So there you go. We have
30s.
walked similar paths, but unique paths for over 30 years.
Yeah. 30 freaking years, dude. That's so insane to me, bro. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to really say 40.
So we're gonna crush this this last tune, Avalanche on the way out. What is it called? World Don't Care? Is that what it's called?
Is that what I gave you? Is World Don't
I
Care?
believe so. Yeah.
So I found a track. So Avalanche has 2 generations.
Okay.
We have a generation where it was Generation of Doom. Me, Wally, Wayne, Jeff, and Aaron Ryan. When Aaron was asked to leave the band, because he had a lot of family stuff going on at the time, and we were like these young kids that wanted to tour the frickin' world, and we ain't got time for family. We got to be here 5 days a week, goddammit.
Yep.
So we made a change. Aaron, I still love you, and I'm sorry, and I'll say that now because I don't know if I ever did. But we were kids, and we wanted what we wanted, and I guess we didn't care, which is fucked up. But in that interim, we had a couple of songs that were somewhat written, but not fully written.
Yeah.
Like Aaron had thrown down some ideas, never recorded, because back then you didn't record back then. You didn't have a laptop. You didn't have a Zoom to record. You didn't have, so we asked a friend to come down, and I said, we want to record these so we can go find a new drummer.
Yeah.
I called in Brian Ridinger.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Ridinger is probably one of the best drummers I've ever seen in my life. He used to play in Gemini.
Okay.
He joined White Fear Chain, which was Realm's secondary project. Do you remember Realm from Milwaukee?
Yep.
Fucking amazing thrash
Steve
metal
Post.
band. If you have not heard of Realm and you are a thrash fan, please YouTube the band Realm. I'm telling you, Endless War and Suiciety are phenomenal.
Endless War was
records.
my favorite.
Incredible.
So good.
So Ridinger had produced our demo. He had engineered our demo. So I called him up and said, hey, we want to find a new drummer, but we want to give them a sample of the stuff to learn. Can you come down and learn a couple songs, and then can we just record them over the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
So he came in on a Saturday and set up his drums, and he's like, play me the song. And he's making notes. Okay, play me it again. Okay, and he's updating his notes a little bit more. And then he's like, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. So we're like 16-year-old kids that played 8 hours a day with our fucking drummer, you know, and it's like, what the fuck is this guy going to pull off in fucking 2 listens of just riffs?
Yeah.
Not even a CD or a cassette or nothing, just the riffs. Played him the riffs. And he proceeds to lay down incredible fucking drum tracks. I mean, not tracks, just drumming.
Yeah.
Just wrote these parts. So good that when we finally did get our drummer, he just played what Brian played.
Right.
He said, I'm just going to play that because that's badass.
Yeah.
So Wally found this recording probably about 5-6 months ago and gave it to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to put this out there. So I went out and I used my editing software and found a bunch of old video footage of the band, put the video footage down, put this track over it, and then put it online. And it got quite a few views over like 2 or 3 days. I was kind of like, oh my God, people actually gave a fuck, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
it also spurred Wally and I to think about re-recording some unreleased Avalanche stuff. So we may come out of self-imposed retirement and do some stuff the next year.
Oh,
which
shit.
would be kind of fun. We also might get arthritis and die, so it could all go away as fast as it came in. But yeah, so this is World Don't Care by Avalanche from 1996.
Very cool, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming in and doing this, man, and being a homie for so many years, dude. I really do appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Every time we see each other, no matter how much time is in between, we pick up where we left off, and it's always cool, man. You know, I've had nothing but mad respect for you throughout the years, you know. And again, there isn't a time that I see you that I don't think about, God damn it, this dude's here to do what? And you're like, that's your vocalist? What am I doing here?
I don't know if you remember, but later on that day, you guys went to do a photo shoot at an abandoned barn farm, and I, for some reason, was still with you.
Yeah.
And you grabbed like a scythe.
Yeah.
And I literally was scared for about 2 minutes because I'm like, is he fucking going to kill me with that because he thinks I'm going to take his... Okay, this is good.
Those pictures popped up a few years ago. I've seen those pictures. Yeah, they're ridiculous. Dude.
That was the day,
ridiculous.
brother.
That's funny.
That's the day.
That's funny, man.
It's crazy time.
Long time, dude. Holy. We're old men, dude. All right. Well, we're going to do that. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate you very much for joining us. John, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having
me. Where can people catch Hollywood Boulevard? Do you have anything coming up, or you got...
Dude, I'll be honest. The only way that I survive in Hollywood Boulevard is by looking at where I'm playing next week and not where I'm playing over the next 3 months.
Gotcha.
So next week, I'm in Cologne, Minnesota for Cologne Days on Friday. I'm in Ellsworth, Wisconsin for their big festival on Saturday. I think we're at Route 47 somewhere in the next 2 months. So if you want to come hang out local.
Yeah.
And it's 80s rock.
Yeah.
It's fun. You know, come out and have a beer and just think about some good old 80s hair metal.
How can they reach you with the Stunner Stage stuff?
Stunner Stage, you know, YouTube, you can search for Stunner Stage, Talking Minnesota Music. I've got a Facebook, the same thing, Stunner Stage, Talking Minnesota Music. You can also just look me up, John Stunn Magnuson on Facebook.
Are you taking anybody if they want to call you up and say, hey, got some great stories?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, it's like the Mick Sterling thing just happened out of nowhere. The Billy Thayer, he called me and was like all over me, like, dude, I want to do this. So the thing I try to tell people too is be patient. I'm brand new. August, I've got 4 of them I'm shooting, which means pretty much all September I'll be editing.
Yeah.
So I'd love to talk to everybody, but it is going to take time.
We'll figure it out, dude. I'll help you streamline this thing. Let's
awesome.
do it. It'll be great.
Thanks,
telling
brother.
you, we'll fucking get her worked out. You'll be like, oh, that'll be simple, no problem. Well, we've got one every other week. You know what I'm saying?
That would be
Something
amazing.
Like that.
It'd be fun.
Let's boost it, dude. Let's do it.
Do it.
All right, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in again. Thanks for joining us. We love you. Thank you for all the support. Have a good evening. Peace out.
I didn't shut the door. Hurry, go back. Hold that door. Well, pardon me, it's like a documentary. Here we are, coming out of the... Hey, Don. Hey, at least I get to do something. It's about time you do something. Watch out for this.
why we survived. It's a reason that